Word to the clap. All right. And I believe we will just slideshow from beginning. Beautiful. And let me go ahead and share my screen. No, not who can share screen. I can share the screen.
You can do it.
I can do it. There we go. All right, you guys can see that then? The PowerPoint?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Thank you everyone for joining. I'm gonna just get started by reading our mission and purpose: to serve as a historical, patriotic, and non-political international organization dedicated to honoring the legacies of those who served in the Vietnam War, to create a community that connects, supports, and advocates for each other, to maintain and upkeep memorials created to honor the Vietnam War, to educate and inform those seeking information and history on the Vietnam War, and to work with and support the National Vietnam War Museum in promoting an understanding of the Vietnam War for generations to come. So we're going to go over today our financial report. We'll talk about the executive board agenda that we had today and discuss some of what was discussed there. We'll hit on some advertisement and some membership points. And then we've got a little bit of new business for the spring fundraiser. Can't believe we're already talking about that, but and clearly I've made my first mistake. So we do not have a spring fundraiser update. That was the last meeting. I just didn't take it out of this agenda. And then I do have some pictures to share from the grand opening of the museum. And then once again, we'll talk about the honoring your veteran, and then the museum phase 2. And we'll leave it open for some discussion at the end. So with that said, let's see here. Okay. Moving right along, we've got our membership update. Let's see. Let's put this right over there. Our financial report, sorry. And this will be the last time you'll get to hear this from me, because I am hoping that I can talk the board into, so our treasurer will hopefully give you these reports. I think that hearing from me at every single meeting the entire time, I'm hoping we can get you guys just a little bit of some other people talking. But at this point, we have 94 memberships. We have 4 that came in June. I do have about 6 of them at my desk that I need to process for July. But I've started, instead of processing them as they come in, and I mean, it's a lot of work, and then trying to get them all mailed, I've decided that I'm only going to process applications once a month towards the end of the month. And then those will be the applications that are processed for that month. So if, you know, anyone has sent their check in, if it hasn't been cashed yet, that's why we're just waiting until the end of the month and processing those. We did get a little bit behind because of June with the fundraiser, and I had a lot of travel. So there's my excuse for this meeting. But at this time, I think we're looking pretty good in our bank account. We got a really good deal on that founding members plaque. We posted that, but I do have some pictures as well. And originally, I think we had budgeted, 400 some for it, but because of the way that I did it, it only ended up being $158. So I think that that's really good, and I actually like how it looks better than had we have just done, a normal plaque without color or anything, with just the names. So I don't know if anybody has any feedback on that.
It looks good.
Yeah, I
think
the acrylic with color was just a better way to go. So and we did have the the brochures that were printed out, and I expect that the renewal number will go up. It's gone up to 7. I believe it was 4 at our last meeting, and it really has only not gone up 100% due to me. In order to process that, I have to go into the account and literally put everybody's email in as a separate person in the Square account so that it can send you out notices. And then it'll just going forward always send you a notice every year to renew your membership for $25. And so it's very, very time consuming. I do have some help with that. It's just a matter of me getting the information to them and getting there, and they have to set up their own Square account with our bank account. So a lot of stuff going on there, and that's just why we haven't seen the renewal number go up. But I expect that, from the feedback that I'm getting from a lot of people, they want to continue with the group. So, and we are going to be sending out a little gift for the renewals. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. So is there any questions on the finances? Everything that you see here, receipts, everything we have. So there's, I'm pretty transparent with anybody that wants to see anything, but also if you see something here that we're spending money on that you think you can, get for cheaper, or maybe you're in that line of business and we want to support each other. So always reach out to me. No? All right. We will just move right along then. Come over here. So this, I wanted to share with you the agenda from the executive board meeting that we had. This would have been our very first executive board meeting. And honestly, my personal view on the whole thing is it just couldn't have gone any better. It really, it's a very good group who, filled with people that are really passionate about this group. And so they really want to jump in, and everything that I had on my list, somebody was able to sort of take off my plate and, is really going to be working hard to get us. One of the things that we discussed was bylaws in order to incorporate ourselves, which would mean, then we can have our own bank account, we can have our own, incorporation and everything that goes with that. And, our Vice President Dennis stepped up, and it's something that he's done before. So he's working on that, which is just huge. It's a big undertaking. And so something that, I just had not had the time to do, although I knew it needed to be done. So it's nice that we now have this group. Crystal Hudson's going to be taking over the finances. So she'll, between her and our secretary, they'll be able to handle those renewals and those memberships and all that. Another exciting thing that we talked about was, the ideas of chapter packages. We're pretty far from that at this point. And we recognize that, getting together what a chapter would look like and how we establish those all around really the world, but at this point, the US is important to get it right so that, we have enough to offer. And so, so that's something that the executive board is starting to discuss. And as we get further along, we'll bring that to the general meetings, and you will have input. The executive board is making decisions, but not solely. We will be bringing things to our members to vote on. So hopefully stay a paid member and, have some input in all these ways that this group is evolving. And, and you have a say. If you're a member, you have a say in, in what we're doing and how we're doing it. And if, you agree or disagree, or even have some ideas. And anybody that wants to, attend an executive board meeting is more than welcome to. So, even if you have an idea that you want to present before the board, just let me know, and I'll let you know when the next meeting is. And you certainly are free to do that, and encouraged to, really. So there's those things that are happening. And then the women's exhibit group is and we'll talk a little bit about that. They've got their first meeting coming up, and Susie Messinger has taken over leadership for now for that group. If there's someone that's interested in leading the group, I know we did get one person, and we don't know where that stands at this point. However, we're always looking for, for people to, stand up and take on any kind of leadership roles they're looking for. So, another thing that we discussed was I was contacted by a woman who belongs to a group of children of the Vietnam War. And these are, gosh, I can't remember how she called it. But these are basically children.
Is it Amer-Asian?
Yes.
Something like that.
Thank you, Dennis. Yes, Amer-Asian. So these are children. It appears mostly from Vietnam. So these are Vietnamese children of the war, and they have a pretty large group here in the U.S. In fact, they were having a get together. I only had a couple of days notice in Texas that was supposed to be attended by, almost 500 people. I have tried to connect since, but we just haven't connected yet. But I'll be meeting with one of those women and seeing how we can maybe, work together. And, that might be a future exhibit that, that we want to think about is, having some sort of exhibit that, that showcases that, whether it be a temporary exhibit or a permanent one. But just kind of things to think about down the line. And I'll always share when people reach out to me. So sometimes nothing will come of it, but I definitely want to always be as transparent as possible with everyone about all that. So, and then we discussed the promotional items. So we had in the last couple of previous meetings, we've talked about people who want, shirts or bags or stickers or, various things with our logo on them. And Dennis, our vice president, did some research and found that we can sell those via Amazon. And so it's just sort of a print by demand kind of a thing. And you basically sign up for an account and we can upload our logo to it, and we can put our logo on various things. And then, just release a link to everyone where you can go online and order right through Amazon. And if you have Prime, it's, free shipping and everything. So we're working on that. I signed up for it, but it says that it's 14 days that you have to wait for approval. And so I have not been approved yet. So, but as soon as I am, then, we'll discuss what, but the cost to us is nothing for that. And, we do receive a small portion from the sales, not as much probably as if, we were sitting on stock, but to be honest, as new as we are, we really don't have the money to be sitting on stock anyways, and then paying on shipping costs and, all that. I think for now, this is the best option just to get our name out there and, to get our members and people, well, not even members only, but anybody interested in the group to, be able to have some items with our logo on it. And hopefully, that'll just add more free advertisement for the group. So look for that link as soon as I'm out of approval mode here, then we will I'll be discussing with the board as to what we want to put out there, and we'll just get that all set up and going, and we'll keep track of all sales, and that'll be part of the finance report. So that was a lot to take in. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Katie, I have some questions, questions about brochures. Unless it's on the agenda, and not on
I'm sorry, about what?
the brochures.
Yep.
Did I miss? Are you going to mail out brochures? Are you still waiting?
I did mail. Did I miss you?
Oh, you did mail? Yeah, I haven't gotten any.
Okay. You know what? If I missed you, will you just shoot me? You can shoot me a Facebook message or an email or something, and I'll make sure that there was it's been hard because I've been doing the meetings and trying to take the minutes and everything. And sometimes people put stuff into the chat and it doesn't save on the recording. And so, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that I've missed a few people. So if you have not gotten your brochures, just shoot me a message and I'll make sure you get them. I'll send them out, in the next couple of days because I have the packets ready to go and stamped and everything. All I have to do is put addresses on them. I tried to sort of take care of some of that pre-work for myself.
Why
So-
you pay money for shipping?
Now, at this time, I think we're okay. I never turn down money though, I'll tell you that. So, yeah, we can discuss that if you want to, throw a couple dollars. I think it was 187 it was costing me for shipping. So,
$1.87 or $187? I know.
no, just $1.87. Yeah, $1.87 per, yeah. $1.87 per one. So let me just see here. I just want to make sure I'm not missing. Oh, okay. So yeah, so let me just shoot me a message and I'll get those out to you in the next few days. So,
Thank you. I'm emailing you now.
yeah, sounds perfect. All right. Does anybody have any other questions about anything that the executive board went over? No. Okay. I am going to move on. We just talked about, come on, go to the next screen. There we go. We just talked about the brochures, so I won't spend too much time on those, but we do, for anyone who's not aware, we do now have, the museum is officially opened. And we do have a special section in the museum dedicated to us. It's on the second floor in the art gallery. I think it looks pretty nice. I think it's set up really nice. We have brochures there in place, as well as our large banner. I'll show you a picture of the whole area in just a little bit. Crystal Hudson's the one that did the design for our band. Well, she's done the design for everything. And so she's the one that designed our logo as well. So she's amazing, and this is what she does for work. So if you ever know anybody that needs that kind of work, she's perfect to go to. So, and then like I talked about, stay tuned for those shirts and tote bags and maybe coffee mugs or whatever else we can get. I have no idea what's even available because, like I said, I'm still on probation, I guess. So as soon as I know. But for anybody who wasn't on any previous calls, what we're talking about with the brochures, so you can sort of see an example of our brochure here. It's a pretty nice brochure, has all the information on us, has all of the information on memberships. I'm gonna find out what's going on. We seem to be getting a lot of feedback. So let me
Haley Underwood.
just gonna mute everyone. Tell who it is.
It's Kaylee Underwood.
Okay. How do I get back to my, all right, let me see here. Okay, participants, let me just say. Oh, yep, okay. There we go. Got it? All right, I am screen sharing currently. Uh-oh. So, let's get back to my PowerPoint. I think I have to stop the share to get back to my PowerPoint. Hang on. Oh, yeah. All right. From current slide. There we go. Let's go ahead and share again. Oh, do we have somebody else that's making noise here?
Oh, she unmuted herself.
Give me Wonder if I can do like,
I think we're good now.
I think we are too. Okay, let me go back to screen one. All right, guys, can everybody see my share now? How do we sound? Good? Yep, okay. All right, nodding heads. Okay. So these are the brochures, and what we ask is that people take some to their local VFWs or any veterans events that are happening in town, or just anywhere that you think that sons and daughters would be gathering, and and pass them out or leave them there. So we'll send those to you. So if you're new to the call or new to the group and you're interested in receiving some of these brochures, just let me know and I will get some mailed out to you. And you can let me know via Facebook, you can let me know via email, however you want. So is there any questions on that? I know there's some new people here. I just want to make sure that that I'm not skipping over anything. Okay, we're gonna just move right along then. So other ways to advertise, share the Facebook group, talk to your friends and family, like us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, and share those things to your stories. If we're having a meeting, go ahead and share the meeting link. I always make sure the meeting invite is public, so you are free to share that to to your group, and really just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And it's baby steps. So if we're only getting 4 or 5 people a month new joining the group, that's okay. To me, that's, still growth. And, I think as we, progress further along and as we really start, now that we've got the board and now that, I think a lot more things are going to be able to get done. And, with the museum open and people coming to the museum, we're just going to continue to grow, and, we can only go up from here. So I think it's, a really great thing. So, and, as we talk about membership, for anyone that's new onto the call that hasn't been, our membership fee is $25 a year. And that includes your frameable certificate. It includes a very nice commemorative pin, access to special speaker events, access to invite only in-person events as well. You do have voting rights, and a newsletter that's snail mailed 3 times a year. And you will also get a national membership number that will be yours for life. So, should you choose, hopefully not, but to non-renew, that membership number still belongs to you. So, and we do accept anyone into the group. So you do not have to be just a son or daughter. We have some Vietnam veterans that are paid members as well. And so, we have just people that are friends. There's, a couple people that have reached out to me that don't know personally any Vietnam veterans, but they're very supportive of veterans in general and really feel like, what we're doing is a good thing, and they wanted to be a part of it. So we call them friends. We have collateral memberships for sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, everything, and then lineal memberships for those that are directly descent from a Vietnam veteran. So all this information is available on the website. So, and you can reach it all there. And here is our save the date. So everybody, there's a lot of people that are familiar with the fundraiser that the museum does. This is done once a year. It's the spring fundraiser, and I just want to start getting it on people's radars. Even though I think we're closer to the last one than we are to the next one, they do start to accept sign-ups for this fundraiser. I believe they go, the official newsletter will go out in October that'll include this invite for people to start signing up. So I just really wanted to get it on everybody's radar. Last year, we did basket raffles. So the sons and daughters donated 18 baskets And we made a total of $897 towards that fundraiser, which brought in over $25,000 for the museum. So it's a very large fundraiser. It was a lot of fun. This year is this next one, the 2023 one, is a country western theme, so cowboys and cowgirls. So I think it'll be fun. We did at this fundraiser. It's a Saturday night fundraiser, and we actually had a Friday night event, and we may continue that, or we may do it as a Saturday afternoon event, just so that people that are coming in for the fundraiser can still attend that. So we'll talk about that all, at another time, but I really would love for you to at least get that on your calendar and consider joining us. It really is a great event. And I think it's, well, I'm a little biased because I really like country. So, but I think it'll be a lot of fun. So.
Do you think we'll do the baskets again, or just thinking ahead?
Yeah, I think the baskets were pretty popular. People really liked them. And logistically, it actually helped the museum out a little bit, because typically there's a lot going on in silent auctions and live auctions and all of that. And what happens is the event sort of ends and everybody just shoots for the door, and and then there's just this big backup and lag for checking those people out and getting them to pay, and it's just a big mess. So actually the basket raffles helped quite a bit at the end, because it gave just a little bit of a break, so everybody didn't head towards the door, because there was a lot of people that were in the raffles that kind of stood around and waited to see if they won any baskets. So yeah, I think it was something different. Susie's here, and she was one of the ones that said that she thought it went well. I don't know if you wanted to say anything, or
I guess sure. Yeah, the baskets, everybody stuck around at the end because they wanted to see if they won the baskets or not, and a lot of those people that aren't bidding on the live auction, the higher dollar items, don't usually stay. So, and I don't know if you mentioned, Kate, I didn't hear if you did, but this was, the attendance was low this year, but we made more money than we have in the past. So, and I'm sure that helped just keeping those people around to help bring in that money.
yeah, so that's really great. Thanks for that, Susie. I had forgotten about that. So that was a really big thing with the museum. So I think we will do the basket raffle again. We actually didn't have a single basket that made less than what it was worth. And we were just selling dollar tickets. So I thought that was kind of a cool thing. I've been involved with basket raffles before, and I've never actually had that be the case. So yeah, so we'll talk a little more about that as we get closer to. But I just want you guys to at least get that one on your radar, that we have a date and we have a place, and I want as many of you to come to Texas with me as possible. So going forward, so the museum, let's talk about the grand opening. It was wonderful. It was, for me to meet so many of you face to face, and we've been on Zoom for so long, and there were people that traveled from far away to come to the museum and to be there and support the grand opening, and to really do a good show with the Sons and Daughters group. And as you can see from this picture, there was quite a few of us that made it, and there's actually quite a few people that didn't make the picture because it was kind of a chaotic mess at the end. And, we tried to make the announcement that, meet at the podium for the picture, but, there was a few missing that we're hoping to maybe Photoshop in at a later time. So, but the museum itself had over 600 attendees. I tried to keep track of how many. I'm fairly certain we had more than 25 there, but that's how many I was able to sort of check off to who had time to to pull me aside and say hello. I was trying to keep track while trying to do everything else, but we did have, that was our in-person event for, that included the in-person event for members, which was a breakfast that was beyond amazing. The chef, I have to remember, the chef that did the breakfast has done events for the president. I believe he said for the queen as well. Just a real like world-renowned chef, and all the food was delicious, and it was just such a big spread. And if you were a member, you were able to come, and if you had brought your parents or brought significant other or something, you were able to come to that breakfast free of cost. So, and I can guarantee you that if we had catered that event, it would have cost more than $25 a person. So it was pretty great that we were, that we were able to do that. And, it's just another kind of benefit of being a member, that, there are those things out there that are going to come up, and, you're able to be a part of those things for just that, small $25 fee a year. So this was our sons and daughters picture that we took. There was a couple of them, and we posted them on Facebook. And I wanted to share, here's some pictures from the grand opening. If you're part of our Facebook group, Dennis, Crystal, there's a couple other people, but mostly Dennis, that really took a lot of pictures. If I could, spend the next hour showing you all these pictures, I would. But these are just a couple of the pictures. That top one is the actual ribbon cutting that happened, and you can see we kept everybody. It was 104 or 5 degrees, so it was, crazy Texas weather, and we kept everyone under tents. There were, some issues that we're definitely dealing with on the museum board, technical issues that, that we need to address and whatnot. But most important is we kept everyone cool under a tent with fans. And our speakers, all were well received, and, having over 600 people there was, pretty phenomenal. So these are some pictures of our grand opening day. Here's some pictures of the breakfast. As you can see, it was quite the spread. And we did fill the room. So I think we had over 40 people related to the sons and daughters. So a son and daughter that, brought someone with them to the event. So yeah, and both pictures there on the right hand side, that's our speaker. Top one, that's Crystal Hudson. She's our treasurer. And the bottom right is that's actually my dad with the keynote speaker, Troy Evans. So yeah, so it was, I think just couldn't have gone better, that breakfast. It really was a great time. And as I promised, here is what our special area inside the museum looks like. So you can see we've got our great banner there. We have our scrapbook and our sign with our founding members on it. And we really generated a lot of interest, and I've received a number of emails since of people, asking questions and wanting to fill out that application. And so I do expect, between now and the next few months to be getting more applications in for the group. And, having it in the museum now, I actually just received an email today from one of our guys that work in the museum, Jerry, and he says he was actually talking with someone and gave out a brochure today. So at the museum, they're pushing our group as well. That banner that you see is two-sided. So right behind the banner is where the elevator is. So people come right off the elevator, and our sign, is right there and large for them to see. So I think that it's a really great thing. If you can look though, we are sitting on a clear acrylic box. And I don't like empty spaces. So if you have any ideas, I was thinking, a nice piece of art or something in there, but I am certainly open to anything that anybody has. So if you have any ideas or something, just shoot them over to me on what we can, and whatever we put there would be protected over the acrylic box. So even if it's even something that you have that you wanted to put on loan to the museum that we can put under that box, that's also an option. So, any small statues or things that, that represent the sons and daughters group. I love that we have a clear acrylic box. So now we just need to fill it. And on the upper left, that's our Vice President, Dennis. And we have Todd there in the upper right next to me. And yeah, so, I mean, it was really great to have the board members there as well to help me speak. There was so many people that just really had questions, and people were really interested in the scrapbook as well. So they really enjoyed looking through the scrapbook. And I think there were some people that attended, some fathers that attended that didn't know that they were in the scrapbook. So it was kind of really neat to see, to see them realize that, their story and their pictures and their accomplishments were a part of that book that's in the museum. So I saw a couple of proud fathers. My father was not one of them because I did not get my scrapbook done in time. So no worries, but we're sending them directly to the museum now. And so we did change the address for that. And so, you'll, as soon as they receive it at the museum, it goes right into the scrapbook, and no waiting period. If you're visiting the museum, you're more than welcome to put it in the scrapbook yourself if you wanted to. So that's all I have to say about that. Anybody else have anything? No.
I was just thinking under,
Yes.
Katie, I just have a question. I don't know how to do this. Is the scrapbook also, does it take pictures or some sort of digital something, so we have a digital copy of the scrapbook, so to speak?
No, not at this time. I have not digitalized it, only because I didn't tell people that we were going to do that. And I don't, I'm really careful about protecting people's privacy, especially online. So, we only told people that we would, place it in a book in the museum. So I really hesitate about, digitalizing them unless, somebody posts theirs specifically online.
Well, also because obviously there's only one copy of it, unless people make, whatever. I mean, I took a picture of my page, but for our own reference, not necessarily put on, oh, our website, look at all the pages, but for our own record keeping, for history, for our own self now. So, Susie, I see your hand.
just a suggestion. When I created my dad's, I did it in PowerPoint, saved out the ping, because you can save a PowerPoint file to any type of graphic file. You can
Mhm.
save it to a PDF or a JPEG or a ping or whatever. And I had mine, I sent it to Shutterfly and just printed it. So when I sent it, I requested 2 copies. So
Who is that?
it's not me.
Becca.
Is it?
I think it's coming from Becca.
I'm muted.
He's muted.
Okay, so I had him send me 2 copies. So I gave my mom a copy and I gave one to the museum. Just a
Okay.
thought.
Yeah, that's I like that idea that you.
I did the same thing. I made a copy for my dad and a copy for the museum.
And I did mine the old school way with cutting and pasting and all of that. I took them to a copy center and had photocopies of mine made to give
That's a
to
great idea.
families of the people that I had created them for. Because I did one for a friend whose brother's MIA, and then I have them to give to my dad and copies to keep for myself.
Yeah, and
Right.
that was something I was gonna add that was actually something that somebody said to me, and I just want to make sure that, that I'm clear. So I had a friend, who contacted, she's a friend of the museum. She had, two soldiers that served together. They were best friends, and one of them made it home, one didn't. And she said, I'd really like to do a scrapbook page for each of them, but would it be possible to, sort of do it in a way where it was obvious that they both belonged together? And, that's something that's very easy for us to do. You just put them on the same page together, which was what I assured her that, that we would do. And so, so that's an option too. If you have, brothers, or maybe your dad and your uncle served, or, something like that, and you wanted to create, one large scrapbook page that really goes down into two pages, that's something to also think about. And I wanted to make sure that I at least addressed that and let people know. I think it's a great idea. And I think it's, kind of a fun idea too, to be able to, to have them together in the book.
Hey,
So-
Katie, I just had one other thought before we leave from the clear box.
Mhm.
Underneath the scrapbook. One, I know that my dad has at our home, my mom and dad's home, he has like 2 of his pilot helicopter helmets that they wore. It's pictured in the scrapbook, and it's one of the things I made sure was in the scrapbook.
Mhm.
So if, we could maybe see if my mom would be willing to offer one, and maybe if somebody else had a slightly different helmet, maybe we could figure out a way to put them on display to show the different
Yeah.
types of pilot helmets. Cause I know that pilots from the Army, the Marines, the Navy, and the Air Force, they all have different variations on the same pilot equipment. And
Yeah.
so, if we could find someone maybe from each of the services, you could maybe put that under there, because since it is in Mineral Wells,
Mhm.
it is the helicopter central for Vietnam War. My dad, trained, I don't know how many Vietnamese pilots.
Mhm.
And at one time, they all, after they got their pilot, they became a pilot, they all jumped into the Holiday Inn pool.
Mhm.
That was their splash. Soon as
Yeah,
you got
no,
your
I
pilot
love
wing,
that idea. I
jumped
think
in.
yeah, I love the idea. I think I love it even more if, we had something like that, even if it was just on loan for a year, and we were able to maybe even create a little banner that sort of tells his story as, and as you being a member of the Sons and Daughter, and so you just kind of create something so that, when people look at it, and we really, Crystal's the best at sort of making all of that stuff look beautiful. And she's out there in Texas. So we'd probably be able to talk her into, I don't know. She's not on the call tonight, so she has no idea what I'm
I
saying.
don't need help with that. I'm also a graphic artist and
Are you, and you're in
previous
Texas
life.
too, aren't you?
And I'm only,
forget who's out
yeah,
there.
my parents live in Mineral Wells still, so
Yes,
I
I'm
will,
so sorry.
I will just
Yeah,
check with,
no, that's,
yeah, I'll just
but
check
for
with
anyone
Mom.
who's not in Texas, so now we have Susie and we have Crystal out there who are both artists. And I really think that, you could make that area probably look, really cool, and, have it be a focal point, and include a display with the story on it as well.
Yeah, like
So-
put maybe some of the coins with it, or wings,
Yeah.
pilot wings, and the helmet.
and
We
it
could
would
do
be
something
safe.
very cool.
And we could definitely add a little thing that just says on loan from, so it's not, you don't necessarily have to donate it to the museum. It could certainly be something that was just on loan.
Right. And
Huh.
like I said, I know he has 2, so I could probably get Mom to let me get 1.
Mhm. No, I think that's great. So yeah, let's talk a little bit more about that and see what we can, what we can come up with. I love that idea. So those are the kind of things that, if you have something that, you want on display, like I said, you don't have to donate it to the museum. You can definitely, put it on loan to the museum. We'll talk with the museum and, see if there needs to be, anything additional or, logistics or legalities or anything like that. But, I'd really like to fill that box with something related to our soldiers and the
I'm
reasons
on it.
why we-
I'll check into it and send you an email after I find out if she's good with it.
All right, that sounds wonderful. All right, does anybody else have any questions? What do you think? Does our area make everybody happy? You like what we got going on there?
I
Yeah,
like it. Thumbs up.
great. Okay. So let's see here. And we just talked about the veterans, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but for anyone who doesn't know, what we have is a scrapbook at the museum. Anyone, you don't actually have to be at this time. This may change if we start to get too many scrapbook pages in. This could be something that'll change. This time you don't have to be a member. So if you're thinking about doing a scrapbook, I would do it now before we change that rule. You create a 12 by 12 page. You can do it. A lot of people are doing it online. People are doing it in PowerPoint and sending it off to be printed in a 12 by 12. You can do it old school with, cutting, pasting, and, just really making it beautiful. I was so impressed with the scrapbook pages that were there. They were just, they just really looked wonderful and really tells the story how you want it to be told of your veteran. And I can tell you that the veterans that saw their scrapbook pages there really felt it in their heart. So I think it really meant something that, that their story was on display at that museum. So you'll be able to send those directly to the museum. On our museum webpage is the shipping address that you can send it to. It's a PO box, and they will put that right into the book for you. However, if you're visiting the museum as well, you can get that put in there. So the only thing we don't really have any rules on it except no graphic photos. There are children that attend the museum and all that. So we want to just be very respectful of that. However, we understand it's still a war. So, so that most content is acceptable, and just one page per veteran. So if you have family that, is part of the group, if you could just work together with them to get that scrapbook done and sent over. WIMSA, we'll talk about WIMSA. This is some old business. So the purpose of this group is to create an exhibit highlighting the contributions of women during the Vietnam War. At this time, we have a team of approximately 10, and we are open to anyone who's interested in joining the group. The first meeting is coming up here on Thursday, July 28th. It's going to be a Zoom meeting. Part of this meeting is going to be discussed what questions and how my meeting is going to go in August when I meet with WIMSA itself. And the purpose of that is to sort of legitimize our group and talk about what our goals of this subcommittee is, and what our plan is, and talk about the museum a little bit. And once that is done, then we will be given access to the database. At this point, there's over 13,000 women veterans where they have collected data on. So they have the data. We'll be able to connect with those veterans and do, whether it be via Zoom, we can connect you with people that live in your area, and you could do an in-person interview, but we will come up with and conduct some recorded interviews that it will help us put together this exhibit. And we actually have someone, well, Susie in Texas is going to be collecting, I think it's, I don't have my notes from our executive meeting, but it's going to be collecting artifacts as well that will help us put on display this new exhibit. So, there's a lot going on with that. I really have huge thanks to Susie Messinger, who really sort of took that on. I cannot possibly take on leadership of another group. And so, so I know that, there had been supposed to be a meeting in June. I don't know why I planned anything in June, given what was going on with the grand opening, but she took it on, and now we're moving forward, and we will, anyone who's interested in joining that group, it really, I think, is minimal time. I don't think this kind of a thing will take up much of your time, and I think you will get a lot out of it. I mean, I cannot imagine how awesome it's going to be able to sit even in person. I mean, with a woman who served during Vietnam, and and hear her stories. These are stories we're not hearing very often. We're not really hearing from the women, often enough. And so I just think that you're going to lose so much of those. And the fact that, this group is going to be able to be a part of capturing some of those stories and really highlighting them is, to me, I couldn't be more excited about it. So hopefully you share some of my excitement. But when I say minimal time, if you have nothing but time and you can interview 10 different women, that's wonderful and great. But maybe you just want to get something out of it and interview one. I think that that's great as well. You'll be able to do it on your own time, schedule it on your own time. And if you've got some children too, it might be something they'd be interested in, in doing with you. So yeah, I think the idea is to be able to, get as many of these women interviewed as possible and get their stories and how they contributed to the Vietnam War. Some officially served, some were over there as donut delis, some were over there. There was various things that women did that contributed to the Vietnam War, and we want to get as many of those different stories out as possible. We'll be designing the exhibit. There will be some talk about fundraising for, paying for anything that we need to, pay for to create the exhibit. And then, like I talked about, Susie Pate is going to be doing some artifact collection as well. And so a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff on the agenda on that one. And I think you will see, we have been told actually that they would make a place for us in the current museum if we created this exhibit. Jim said certainly find room for us. So that's kind of cool to think that if we create this exhibit, it could actually be on display before the second building is even made, and then a bigger, larger addition on, to the second building. So Susie's got her hand up. I'm going to let her talk.
I just wanted to reiterate again that we still have room for more people to help. If you don't want to be in the meetings or whatever, we can still get out the list. We can still put you in touch with some people off of the database if you want to help out that way.
Yeah, so she's just saying, if you, even if you maybe don't want to join the group per se for, more meetings and, et cetera, but maybe you just are interested in, interviewing, that's certainly an option too. So we'll be having, at some point, we'll be having a session that is just specific to how to interview and what questions will be asked. So you could attend one meeting and then do your interviews, and that's that. Or if you want to be a part of the whole thing, we'd like to get as many people involved in this as possible. So, come and join, come to some meetings, or just let Susie know that you're only interested in, in interviewing. That's certainly an option too. We encourage you. And you can, if you don't have Susie's information, she's on the Facebook group, but also, everybody's welcome to email me and, and let me know, and I can connect you with her as well. So, and I put her email address on the slide. So there you go. PTA Susie. So, all right, I will move on with that. I just wanted to talk quickly about phase 2 of the museum. So most people don't realize that this was phase 1 that was just opened. The museum actually has multiple phases to it. And so we just wanted to talk. There was actually, during the grand opening, the museum, to give an update, raised over $10,000 was donated towards phase 2. The board, which I am part of, has signed with an architect, and so that design work for phase 2 has already begun. It will include 6 new exhibits, and also an expansion of the current exhibits, including that home front gallery that, chronicles major events during the Vietnam War. There is specific information and a large article that's really going to go into detail that is going to be included in the newsletter that's going out. Is it the newsletter going out this month? So all members should be receiving the newsletter. And if you're not, I need to know that right away, because that is part of your membership package, that you do receive that newsletter. And it does come out 3 to 4 times a year. So the plans for the museum are pretty amazing. I'll keep you updated on, what I see and, the information that I get, just to let you know. The idea is, especially with this group, is that we're going to play a very large role in continuing the museum and making sure that that museum stays open, and that, we continue to teach about this war for generations to come. So, being a group that is connected to some bricks and mortar, I think is, just a great thing for our group, to keep that alive, and really to, have a say in some of these exhibits, and being able to, to showcase things like this women's exhibit. And, hopefully, we'll be able to work on something with the children of the Vietnam War as well, and really be able to, to direct some of the things that are happening at the museum. I don't have a lot of information, but I can certainly try to answer any questions if anybody has anything on the phase 2 project. I can tell you that there's been some questions about the finances of the museum, and while I absolutely could not, reveal what our bank account is specifically, I can tell you that the museum has a steady income stream each month, and that we do not currently have any debt. So the museum is sound, and, we feel secure going forward. And, we'll be doing a couple of capital campaigns for this phase 2, which is a second building, and, moving forward. But we are in a good place financially, not a great place. We always need to continue with the income stream and continue fundraising and continue doing all those things. But I just don't, I know some people worry, oh, we're a small museum in, small town Texas, and, how are we doing? But I want to assure everyone that, the museum is financially sound. We are about to hire our first person, which, our first curator. And so that's kind of exciting, and that's really going to help push this museum. So does anybody have any questions on that phase 2 that, I could at least try to answer maybe? No? Okay. Like I said, you'll see more pictures, and I'll continue to release more information as I get it, as it comes in, and I'll be as transparent as, as I can with, with where we are with the museum. So where do we need help? As we talked about, those, people that want to join that WIMSA group. And I don't know if we really can call ourselves the WIMSA group, but I mean, that's our goal is, we're still a women's exhibit group. I think is more specific to what we're doing. I'm also looking for a speaker. I do have a couple of ideas. The speaker would be a special speaker for our paid members in October. So if you're not a paid member, you want to make sure you get that done. But I think in October, we may be looking at elder care. I know a lot of us are caregivers for our parents, or are looking at becoming that. And I did have someone reach out to me and offer up a speaker series. I want to let you know that the speakers so far we've opened up to everyone, but I think, I think that at some point we really need to close that down and, and have these benefits available to our paid members. And so, so I think that's going to be an October speaker. These speakers are also recorded, and they will be posted on a site that is available to members only. So, don't worry if you aren't a member by October, haven't got your paperwork in or whatever, you will still have access to those pre-recorded speaker events that we've had. And so, so I do want to assure you that, but we do need to keep these to our paid members and really have that exclusivity with, give people a reason. I don't want the paid members to feel like they're paying for something that's available to everyone. And then our newsletter, they are coming out 3 or 4 times a year. Jim would really like to bring it down to 3 times a year. We've been doing 4 times a year, so that's why I'm not 100% sure which way we're going to go, but I'm always looking for somebody to help. I literally write the entire thing myself. And so, it's difficult, and I love when people want to just, send in an article. We've had people, send in their story, their service stories. We've had, anything that, that you think you want to write about. We try and keep the newsletter to, events that are happening at the museum, but there is certainly fill-in areas. So don't write an entire page long, thing, but if there's a, something happening in your area, I can tell you that, this newsletter's, I'll just give you an example. My father's actually being honored at the state capitol on his 75th birthday, which is on the 27th of this month. And so I'll be taking some pictures and including that in the newsletter, because I think that it's important for people to see things that are happening, especially when it's, related to people that are a part of, this museum and this Sons and Daughters group. And I think that, so if those kind of things happen, or, something happens in your area that's related, just jot it down, find a picture, even if it's a picture online or, something, and include that, and, send it over to me so that I have some of those things to include in the newsletter. Everybody loves to just read a newsletter with current events, right? No, they don't. They want some sort of fill-ins that make it a little bit, easier and more personal. So if you want to just write a one-time article, or if, you're interested in, writing every time, whatever suits you, just let me know that you're doing it. My newsletter is going to be due December 1st, and that is a hard date for Jim. He has said December 2nd is unacceptable. So if you have something to add, I'd really like to get it by November 15th. So I'll probably be posting on Facebook and, various emails, just asking if people are going to send something in, and, just give me a heads up. Any questions on where we're looking for help? No. Okay. So we do have well, it's 7:05, and I always say this is about an hour and 15. We have a little bit of time, but Jill is not allowed to bring up pictures or anything else of the sort. So we're gonna leave Jill muted.
Katie? Miss
Yes.
Kate, can we get everyone muted? We're getting a lot of static.
Are we
from
getting more static?
Yeah.
Let's see, participants. Can I mute everyone? Probably. Mute. Am I gonna mute myself? Oops, I think I might have asked somebody to unmute. Just ignore me. Mute. How's that? Are we good now? Just me? Oh, look at that. You just have to listen to me. All right, let me throw us back onto, okay. So, does anybody have anything that they want to discuss? You can certainly certainly come unmuted. Susie, put your hand down. Your hand has been up the entire presentation. Sorry, I just have to give her hell. Okay, so I'm going to stop the recording at least, just in case there's. Are you sure?